Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR today, a Tuesday morning, November 9th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and Linda K. You sound a lot better. You almost sound like 100% Linda.
I do. I am definitely much more vocal. I can speak a little louder, a little clearer. I got some sleep. That's important as well.
You got a little tea in there, a little honey. Honey is the key. People that don't use their voice might not know this as well, but honey is the key.
I've got some of that in my cabinet as well.
There you go. All right. Real quick, let's talk about the sponsors. First off, I'm going to mention Movember real quick. We'll get my stuff out of the way, and then I want to know who sponsors our program here. But folks, you'll see in the description below the video now that I have put a link directly into my Movember page. I'm just looking for a little help. Help out the man they call Meathead. Help others get more information about men's health and raise money for prostate cancer awareness. Go to Movember.com and donate to my page. I don't care if it's a nickel. I don't care if it's a nickel bag. I don't care if it's whatever you want to do. I'm growing a mustache in November. I checked it out, Linda. It's year 16 is how long I've been doing this. So I'm asking for a little help. If you don't have it, that's fine. If you have it and you could spare it, Movember.com. Linda, who sponsors the program?
Our tremendous sponsor is Collar and Elbow. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com. See the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. And, it's already November, as we know. It's Movember, of course, and November as well, where, the holidays not too far around the corner. So if your mind's already, spinning, thinking, what can I get my family? What can I get my loved ones? If you want them to look fly and be comfortable yes, collarandelbowbrand.com. And to save yourself 10% off your order, use promo code Linda K. That's LINDAKAY. Save that little bit of cash.
There you go.
Toward the holidays, yes.
It's funny. You say holidays, and now we're starting to smell Christmas in the air, right? Even though it's not Thanksgiving yet, we're smelling Christmas in the air. Do you know what I put on? My oldest was just a little antsy, and she wanted to watch TV. She wanted to fall asleep or something. So we threw on the old Disney Plus. I put on Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah, that's a classic.
Classic movie. Classic. Now, WCW, I believe, was he in that one? I think the Giant was in that. I fell asleep by the time the movie really started going. So Paul White, the Giant, the Big Show, was in a couple of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I don't remember if he was in that one or it was in one of the others, but I think it was that one. I think Big Show was in that movie.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that one.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. It's in my recently played, so. Let's talk a little bit of news. Sad news. My username on the socials is WCW Meathead. So as it implies, I've always been kind of a WCW guy. I've been a WCW mark, right? Judy Bagwell on a forklift match was one of the most infamous matches that happened in the Attitude / Monday Night Wars era. Judy Bagwell was put on a forklift, and they were wrestling for the ownership of Judy Bagwell. Well, that was Buff's mom, and Buff's mom has passed away at the age of 78. She was on TV more than just that one match. She, matter of fact, was a co-holder of the tag team titles. Did you know that?
I had to have my memory refreshed, but yes, for that little bit with Rick Steiner, for a little bit.
Oh, Judy made it to 78. Rest in peace, Judy Bagwell. Buff defeated Chris Kanyon in the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. Now, you might not know this, and I know that we talked about it off air, but the other holder of the tag team championships, Judy Bagwell, tag team champions with the father of Braun Breaker, otherwise known as the Dogface Gremlin, Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Keith Lee has issued a statement on his release. He not happy, obviously, that he was getting released, but nobody's going to hold him down. He's definitely feeling limitless. He says there's more to show. I did not realize that Keith was 38. Did you know that Keith was that old?
I knew he was, again, his late 30s, just from the recapping that was done on him during his title reign or his road to getting his first.
Excuse me, 37, title. Not 38, but my apologies.
Yeah, so I knew that he was doing his thing in the indies for a while, and I think he kind of started later in the game, if I understand correctly, as far as
Yeah.
getting into the wrestling business. So I knew he was closer in age to myself and whatnot. But yeah, you know uh he's definitely one for perhaps another company to perhaps pick up and
Right. And I kind of wanted to
get
segue
some.
into you. Thank you, Linda.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this long enough now. You can feel the vibe. You knew where I was going. Linda, we heard from Matthew Friday morning on maybe thoughts of who and where might go to what company and how they might go. Give me your thoughts out of those 18 that are out there. I only expect you to really remember some of the bigger names, but do you see a company like Impact or AEW maybe picking up one or two?
Well, right off the bat, Keith Lee, I think would be a hot pick. Not just his size, but I mean, a lot of the fans really behind him since his NXT days. We really wanted to see the rise of Keith Lee on one of the bigger shows, and it didn't really quite get there. And even they were trying to, rebrand him as Keith Bearcat Lee. I mean, I think
Yep.
he
They
just
even
got
tried to
maybe,
drop the Keith and just make him Bearcat.
yeah, I think he may have gotten two, if not one. I know one for sure, but two matches since that change. But he's definitely one that I feel that fans would love the IWC. Well, it's all wrestling fans. This is
Yeah.
we said a great time to just really celebrate many things. And unfortunately, there has been some drops. Okay, things happen. However, there is then that chance to rise once again, as we've seen. I mean, not just within, people that may not any longer be in WWE, but just, within other companies, maybe no longer in Impact and now, on AEW, or just to kind of see, there's some examples right there. But I think Keith Lee would be a huge pickup, perhaps to AEW or Impact. And I would love to see Killer Cross and Scarlett back together on another huge brand. I can see this working more in AEW. I think that I mean, it's not to be the exact same entrance or the whole TikTok thing, but I
Right.
we didn't really get to see that on the bigger stage. We got in NXT, but then again, it was also in the Capitol Wrestling Center. We didn't get that huge, I mean, reaction of the crowd because that's such a major entrance. And I know it's not just about entrances, but just like with Keith Lee, another person from NXT that didn't quite get elevated to what a lot of us were expecting once getting it, onto Raw. I would love to see them picked up and still together. Scarlett as his manager, that works out really well. And goodness, we're gonna have to run through the names again, or at least.
I mean, honestly, Nia Jax, one of the other bigger
Oh
names that
yeah,
are out
yeah,
there.
Nia.
Nia was storyline taken off due to an injury, but the story with Nia, and I'm not working in the ring, I don't work in the company, so I don't know the deal here. But the story with Nia, which had been talked about for many years now, 3, 4, 5 years, that Nia was sometimes a little reckless in the ring. Remember that bloody nose she gave Becky Lynch? Remember how it seemed like she was beating Lana over and over? I don't know that Nia goes to AEW or Impact Wrestling. I think Nia sits and maybe finds something else to do, and maybe she comes back to WWE at some point. But right now, I don't see Nia Jax back on TV for a while.
I think she has other stuff like with some
Sure,
modeling or clothing
modeling
stuff
or
that
whatever. Sure.
yeah. So maybe she'll focus on that for a bit, and if it all comes back together, if it's meant to be, we'll see her back on WWE programming.
Yeah, we'll have to see. All right. And then speaking of again AEW, we know that they're always looking. I don't like the fact that in the last year and a half now that we've gotten AEW blowing up, the constant conversation is, hey, when WWE releases talent, who should we pick? Who should we pick? Who should we pick? AEW is getting bloated right now, kind of like WCW was, and Tony Khan has addressed this, where he's got to be careful on who he picks up and how many he picks up. Right now they're a TV show that has, or they're a wrestling company that has a 2-hour TV show on a Wednesday and a 1-hour TV show on a Friday. And then obviously if you got your dark and your, go ahead, Linda, say it before I say the 4 different versions of it wrong.
Dark Elevation.
Elevation, thank you. I mean, I could have said revolution, antioxidants. I mean, I could have said whatever, but let's get it right the first time. But my point is that, if you want to get too fat and too bloated, where, they do a good job right now of just not force feeding the entire card down your throat every week because that's all you have. They rotate people in and out, right? So Impact, according to Matthew last Friday, may be the biggest winner in all this because they might even get bigger talent to be able to use on Impact Wrestling. So
absolutely.
All right. One more quick AEW notes before we get on to the Raw review. They've announced a bunch of new dates where they're going to be taping Dynamite and Rampage. Couple dates to note. Obviously, they're going to be live from Minneapolis this Saturday night for Full Gear. They also will be having the Rampage live from the Target Center on the 12th. The 17th, Chartway Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. It is assumed that if Adam Page wins the belt, he will have a huge celebration. There also is some talk that Adam Page does not win at the pay-per-view and gets the rematch in front of the home fans in Norfolk, Virginia. Matthew Thomas had mentioned to us once that apparently when Adam Page was wrestling Jericho for the belt on a pay-per-view, that they showed the pay-per-view live in a library and his grandma showed up.
Yes.
I would love to be at that show. I mean, because one, are you bringing food into the library? Two, I mean, Adam would believe that we should be drinking. So, I mean, are we drinking in the library? And three, aren't you supposed to be quiet in the library? How is this happening?
I mean, there are rules that can be bent. As far as drinks, maybe there was a punch bowl that was spiked. That's
could
how
be.
that comes into play.
Here's a couple other notable dates. They're going to be coming back to Chicago November 24th. So the week after the Norfolk, Virginia, they're going to be live in Chicago again. Also making a run through Texas again. And 2 dates in North Carolina. Greensboro on December 22nd and Raleigh, January 12th. That is for Flair country, my friends.
Yes.
So I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying I want to hear North Carolina.
Right.
In North Carolina.
Yep, that would be great because talk about a crowd pop. We love our crowd pops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk Raw from last night. This was a unique show. So I want to always look at Raw and SmackDown and in the AEW, Dynamite and Rampage. I want to look through it through rose-colored glasses. I want to look through it through positive eyes. And sometimes the crap just gets through to me and I end up seeing the garbage. Here's what I saw that was different. Different matches, different matchups, technically different ways of throwing people around, a couple of little swerves back and forth. Overall, Raw was okay. Here's what we're going to start off with. We're going to start talking about Seth Rollins as he came out in the Ville. Is that what the kids call it down there? They're calling it the Ville still?
Yep, the Ville.
All right. They were at the Yum Center. Have you been to the Yum Center down there?
One time I stayed across the street from there for work one year, and me and my colleagues wanted to possibly go to that after our work meetings, and Lady Gaga was there.
Oh, wow.
We were just like, oh, maybe we should do it, but we ended up not. There happened to be it wasn't MLS, but some other bigger soccer league championship game taking place at a courtyard and field house behind the hotel, or like in that downtown area. So we went to that instead.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, the Yum Center. For those that don't know, by the way, Yum Brands are the ones that own the Taco Bells, the KFCs, and the Pizza Huts and Pepsi, I believe.
Yum.
So that's why it's the Yum brand or the Yum Center.
It's an exclamation point.
Yeah, with the exclamation, Yum! You know what, Yum? I need you to get somebody working at Taco Bell at 7 o'clock on a Friday. I'd like to get a taco. Sorry. I don't know about Milwaukee, Linda, but our Taco Bells are severely understaffed up here.
I see.
All right, so Seth Rollins in the ring, and his outfit, his drip was definitely not on Yum. That was something else, to the point where the crowd's chant was unanimously screaming, "You look stupid." That was, Linda, the chant was so loud, my closed captioning picked it up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's
it said,
crazy.
"Crowd chants, you look stupid."
Oh, wow.
All right, so the point of this is that Seth Rollins is trying to point out that Kevin Owens is a gutless, spineless coward. He's a liar, a snake, so he's trying to plant these seeds, right? Remember Kevin Owens turned on a New Day, 6 months, a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Owens has been one that's turned on Chris Jericho before. Remember the friendship or the Festival of Friendship? Was that it?
Yes. Festival
Oh,
of
that was a
Friendship.
great
Yep.
segment of TV. Man, oh man, because he pulled out that list out of the box, the list of Owens, just beat the crap out of Jericho.
And that painting.
That painting. Wow. I need to have that over my boudoir.
Oh.
I mean, instead of having just my biceps and an egg on top of it, or my baby laying on my arm. You know what I mean?
Ah.
Anyways, this is going to set up what we're getting tonight, which is going to be it'll be Rollins and Owens one-on-one in the main event. But first off, we got the Raw Tag Team Champions teaming with the Street Profits to take on Ziggler, Rude, AJ Styles, and Omos, or otherwise known as Big Bob. Your thoughts on the first segment, the setup? Because again, Raw's pretty formulaic when it comes to this. Opening setup, middle of the show, throughout the show, seeds, and then the final match at the end, and then finally this 8-man tag.
I first got a pop, or I popped, I should say, when Riddle told the Street Profits, "You guys know I want the smoke."
You guys know I like to smoke.
So that kicked it off. That okay, that set a good tone for me going to that match. But yeah, I mean, I think in the end, I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is this going to eventually be where all the tag teams are going to be eventually going after, like, in a huge feud leading up to just Randy and Riddle, where they're all teaming up against them, or is this where it's still just going to be, coming down to AJ and Omos, because we've had Omos come out to interrupt a lot
Right
of
now we got 3 teams that are sniffing
recently.
around.
Right. So, I mean, I guess I'm just wondering, will this lead to some type of tag team scramble, some type of tag team ladder match for the championships, something along the lines of, it's not the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, but something that could lead up to some type of similar build-up. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I just see still that it's gonna end up being a thing with AJ and Omos and Randy and Riddle, because it just seems like that's where the bread and butter of it is. If that makes sense.
So the Survivor Series teams were announced over the weekend. I think it was after SmackDown aired. So we talked about it yesterday morning. But Scrap Daddy, our boy, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce, waiting in the ring for Dominic and Ray. He says, you know what? I want Raw to win. Now, he hasn't told us why he wants Raw to win, because I thought he works on both shows. But apparently he wants Raw to win. And he says, out of the 5 members on the team, 4 of them former world champions. And then that leaves you, Dominic. You can stand a team if you can defeat this man. Not only did that man come out looking jacked up and pissed off, came out with his help outside with his walking stick as well. There was no chance that Dominic Mysterio was getting past Bobby Lashley. A change to the team. Dominic out, Bobby in.
Yeah. First off, I guess I didn't really realize until you said it just now why Adam Pearce was rooting for Raw. It made me think, like, okay, we've seen Sonya Deville more on SmackDown. Obviously, ever since that incident with the wardrobe malfunction with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Maybe just because it is Survivor Series season, they wanted to split the officials to lead one specific team from each brand.
It's like they're giving us half the story and we're just supposed to believe the rest of it. Tell me why.
I mean, I could see if Brock Lesnar was suspended strictly from SmackDown.
Right.
And
Scrap Daddy's the one that suspended him from SmackDown, so it's not like Adam Pearce is only on Raw. That just happened 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So that big stipulation there going into that match, and I think that Raw is definitely stronger with Bobby Lashley. I mean, he gave Dominic and Ray quite the beatdown. That sucks. That blows for Dominic, but now it's how we talked about yesterday on the show. What red flags do we see on the teams? And now we've got Bobby Lashley and Rey Mysterio that's supposed to coexist, align on the same team.
Yep, but now the team is full of former world champions. So the Raw team, and they got a lot to live up to, as they mentioned on air and said the Raw team last year shut out SmackDown. So they want to win again. I was going to say backstage segment. I take it a little personal. I didn't take it personal when Ryan Braun was getting ragged on over and over, but for some reason I took it personal that they were ragging on Aaron Rodgers and, Big E and Gable and Rollins going, I hate that guy. You know what? Come on, man.
Well, I noticed Seth Rollins, like his tweets every week says, "I hate football" or something along those lines because the
Right.
Bears keep losing, and obviously,
But they were getting beat last night too.
yeah, so. But that was interesting. It's not like they were in Green Bay when they made that Aaron Rodgers comment, but the relevancy there was that he was saying it to Seth Rollins, who obviously hates the Packers and does not like Aaron Rodgers. So that kind of was that was a little funny. I'm not gonna lie.
It was funny,
a quick
but
chuckle, but
yeah.
that's because I mean if things fall into plan, Green Bay as Packer Nation will get Aaron Rodgers back this upcoming weekend. Sorry, I digress.
And I was going to say, and we could go down the path of, what's the difference between Ryan Braun and Aaron Rodgers? Ryan Braun, threw an innocent bystander under the bus. Aaron Rodgers was just trying to protect his body, but I'm not here to defend him. So let's go champion Big E taking on Chad Gable. Kind of a warm-up match for him. But I was interested and intrigued by the walking thumb, Otis, and Big E in the ring together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been teased it, and I think they've had some matches before on SmackDown too, but now on Raw, it just puts a whole new look on things, and them face to face, eye to eye. They both got great size, similar heights. This could be a tease, a hint for something down the line.
I have a question for you. So Kevin Owens is running around backstage looking for somebody to believe him, right? And he runs into our guy, R-Truth, who's the truth is 24/7. All the various conspiracy theories that Truth believes in. Oh man, it's just good stuff. But why is Owens? I mean, I guess maybe he snapped. Is that the story that they're telling us? Is that Owens was a good guy and then he just snapped on his own, or is he just faking it and him and Rollins have been working on it all night long?
I don't know if him and Rollins were working on it all night, but I think it's just Kevin Owens. He's Kevin Owens. He always has intentions strictly, for himself. He'll play along to what needs to get done.
Go
and
along
he
to get
needs
along.
Yes, I mean even Seth Rollins later on says like if he was telling Big E to align with the devil, not in these words, the devil himself, or the devil in disguise. Like it's better for him to align with
The
Seth
devil
Rollins.
you know or the devil you don't know. Yeah.
You're right, right. So I think it was right there in front of us as well.
The women's issue with Sonya and Adam Pearce. Again, Sonya apparently is going to be rooting for Team SmackDown, which is on Raw. Adam and Sonya backstage with the women, and they have the 5-woman team for Survivor Series and said you're going to have a fatal 5-way. The winner gets a title shot. Okay, that's cool. Now, I found it weird, even though I know why they did it, because they had on camera the 5 that were picked versus the 5 that weren't picked. So the fact that Rhea and Nikki were on separate sides of the room, and it was weird to me until somebody trash talked her, and then Rhea stepped in and says, "Listen here, you got one more chance, lass. Otherwise, you're talking about my partner, and I'm going to have to knock your teeth in," something to that effect. But I liked the little bit of back and forth, and we had Mountain Dew drop on the microphone. What do you think?
Well, it showed some big importance to what was to come with Dewdrop and Bianca. And I was kind of wondering, like, why is she just, bringing, what's the word? Calling out, excuse me, Bianca during that segment.
Yeah.
And now we later saw why.
All right. The 24/7 champion. I have some questions here. Maybe these are just realistic questions that I shouldn't ask on a wrestling program, but I have to ask. They're having a real match this time, right? So it's Drake and Reggie. The 24/7 stipulation of the rules are suspended during the bell to bell. If you're Drake, who cares if you get disqualified from this match? You pound the, ever-loving piss out of him, because once the bell rings, then can't you pin him?
You're saying if Drake would have
After
lost?
the bell, 24/7 rules go back in effect.
I thought after the closing bell of the match, though.
No, so he had a match, a legitimate one-on-one match inside the bell. But if he gets disqualified from that match, once that bell rings and he's disqualified, now the 24/7 rules are back into play, and he could just pin him again.
That is true.
So why am I supposed to believe any of this? Like I said, am I asking the wrong question watching wrestling? But that just was bothering me.
I mean, I guess I didn't think about it that way. I was just thinking, once they finish that match, whoever the winner is, I mean, without any
But if the
interference with
24/7 people come out, the 24/7 nation, come out, that they can pin them after the match, as we would see. And I want to put this out there. Akira Tozawa rolls up Drake Maverick, and they get a new 24/7 champion. That's awesome. And Akira Tozawa is standing outside the ring like a ninja trying to sneak away. Wait a minute. One of the guys with the headphones takes her. Oh, my God. Is that Corey Graves? Corey Graves rolls up Tozawa as the new 24/7. All right. Wait a minute. Did I just see Byron Saxton roll up Corey? Yeah, Byron Saxton's the 24/7 champion. And then Drake Maverick rolls up Byron Saxton. And then Reggie gets his belt back and rolls up Drake Maverick. You know what? I'm okay with it. It was fun.
It was. If Byron Saxton and Corey Graves weren't a part of that, it wouldn't have been as entertaining to me, because
the best part happened after all of that, because they go back to commentary, and Byron goes, "All I know what to say is Byron Saxton 1, Corey Graves 0," and he's not wrong.
Yes, and that was great too, just because Corey does always shoot down on.
Right.
Byron, but
and Corey has legitimately been an NXT Tag Team Champion, hasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure. He retired early due to health reasons.
Yeah.
But Corey Graves, I thought, was a one-time NXT Tag Champion.
Well, Byron Saxton had his in-ring action as well. So.
Yeah, but he's got a one pinfall victory on Corey Graves, and Corey has none.
Ah.
So I need to see this play out longer. I need to see Byron show up next week. Something close to the Michael Cole, undefeated at WrestleMania, something close to that. Don't give me Michael Cole in a Pope Mobile, but give me something close to that.
Yeah.
But you know what? This was fun.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. And, it still gives us one more. Like, I think a lot of fans loves Reggie and, him being a great 24/7 champion. And this whole thing that's been taking place with not just the 24/7 train, parade, whatnot, but it's recently been led by Drake Maverick. Got that match, but I think we still want R-Truth to get his baby back, and for longer.
Yeah, I'm waiting. He's got to get his baby back. It's going to happen someday. I might have to pick him up before the Rumble. We'll see. The 5-way women's match: Carmella, Queen Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. It was a brutal match, and it needed to be. But out of nowhere, Liv Morgan rolls up Vega for the win.
Yeah. Again, this could have been right before our eyes last week. It was a tease, and the way Becky was talking down on Liv so much.
Becky's hair was fantastic, by the way. Her hair game was on point.
Her physique right now. She's definitely. She is a star, and she definitely looks at that. That's part of being that champion, being that star. And
I gotta wonder if Seth and her are trying to outdo each other. Think about it.
I know. I was just thinking, like, well, it's great. They both, I'm assuming she does the CrossFit as well, and having one another to support each other.
Well, not the athletic. I'm talking about the outfits.
Oh, I was thinking championship next. No, the outfits. Yeah. Well, remember that Broken Skull episode where it's somebody.
Yeah, he was mad that he lost his main event.
That gets the suits. Yeah. So I didn't think about that. I was thinking more so the working out, the tone, and the championship.
Yeah. No, I'm done thinking, because Becky's hair game was out there. It was amazing. But is he out, trying to outdrip Becky?
Ooh,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
But I want them to keep going back and forth. It really kind of came to me. I'm like, I think they're doing this to each other and just trying to compete with each other, which is great. Because remember, like I said, and Seth mentioned on the Broken Skull sessions, Becky technically stole the main event of WrestleMania from Seth, but she was the hottest thing going, so she had to have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, main event: Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. By the way, you know what? One more thing I want to mention from the women's. Probably a heel turn on a Mountain Dew drop, pulling the leg of the pinfall, and Mountain Dew drop, just staring down Bianca Belair.
Yeah, she made it known in that backstage segment, and now I see where this new feud is just beginning.
All right, back to the main. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins started off and says, look, Biggie, you know what? Kevin and I planned this out the whole time. I really don't think they did, but I think at the end, Kevin got pushed to the point of no return and went after Biggie. Kevin had snapped, but the winner by countout was Seth Rollins because Kevin Owens couldn't get back in the ring, and he snaps and just unloaded on Biggie. So does Kevin Owens help Seth Rollins beat Big E when they have the title match?
Ooh, I hope not.
I hope not
I like
too,
this Big
but
E
that
title
just puts the
reign.
odds more against Big E, which makes it a bigger win for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look at it that way. I think there's still time right now that where Biggie and Kevin Owens can do their thing, get their heat off onto one another, and clear the air a little bit more to have more of that focus
Yeah.
on Seth and Biggie. But yeah, I mean, we saw what Kevin Owens being Kevin Owens, and as they mentioned earlier, ask Sami Zayn, ask Chris Jericho, ask New Day, and that's what happened again.
So, all right, that was Raw, and that was the news, and that was our Tuesday morning, not Monday morning, Tuesday morning with Linda Kay. Hey, tomorrow we are going to get, I think we're going to say mahalo, right? Are we going to figure out what time zone he's in?
Yeah, I mean, we can start with aloha.
And then we can end with aloha, right?
You can. Otherwise,
okay.
Just mahalo when the mats. I mean, I don't know what time zone.
I really don't know. And he didn't know if they were celebrating daylight savings time out there either.
That's true. And the early morning, already early morning central or his normal mountain time zone, let alone the what's past Pacific. But we'll find out from the
island. I think there's island time out there.
Really? I like that.
I think it's island time, or it might be Samoan time. I'm not sure. That's one worth a Google. You can Google it. It's worth a Google.
Yeah. So we're gonna be able to get a recap of NXT from the Mats.
From the Mats, the Matthew on the Sierra. No, just kidding, folks. Matthew vacationing out in the 50th state of Hawaii. So we'll say mahalo to Matthew Thomas tomorrow morning. All right, Linda, well, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your time. We will not hear from you Monday morning. I believe we'll hear from you Tuesday morning.
Yes. I will be on assignment up in Green Bay. Green Bay.
That's right. Wisconsin, hopefully with our starting quarterback.
Yes. I will give you that report as well as talking Raw next week. So yeah, thanks for the well wishes. We'll get to. I'll anxiously await and hear the report from the Mats while he's off in Hawaii as well.
There you go.
And
all right.
recovery, Meathead, and Movember.
That's right. All right. For Linda Kay, the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.